Last time on Casino Royale with cheese.
It's always funny to me in the movies that, like, whenever a woman's trying to stop you from having sex with her, and I'm not saying, like, no, get off me, but, like, she's like, no, not right now, I need a lot of candle, whatever. If you just go down on her, she's down.
Sometimes.
In the movies.
Oh, in the movies, yeah. Yeah, well, so here's the thing about that scene, is she's like, no, stop, I have to take a shower, blah, blah, blah. Yo, chick says she has to take a shower? You need to go take a shower before I'm going down on anything.
Oh, no. You're a rookie, bro.
No, sir, no. If she's the one coming out and saying it probably smells bad down there, that's all I need to hear. She's acting all like shy after she drops her pants. You realize he's still in the room. Why'd you drop your pants in front of him? Just act shy about it,
Well, because he was staring at her.
Well, yeah. Chick's taking her clothes off.
That's why I looked at your wife's titties yesterday.
And now, the conclusion.
Houston, we have a problem.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Silent breed is people!
Yo, accident!
Let's put a smile on that face.
I gotta warn you, Clark. They don't play the same games here as they do at them regular casinos.
Royale, too.
Come with me if you want to live.
Live from our studios in the desert, somewhere outside of Los Angeles, California, it's Casino Royale with cheese, starring your host, who would never make Skynet's hit list, Shane Burns.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us here. My name is Shane, and I am with Casino Royale with Cheese, the internet show where we discuss movies that were number one at the box office exactly 20 years ago. And this is episode number 57, actually. So we're moving right along here.
After we got over that 50 mark, every time you say a week, it's just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're almost at 60, man. But
we haven't missed a week.
No. Today, I am joined by the man who, unlike Marcus Wright, if he came with me, he would not want to live. This is Mike.
I guess that depends on what you mean by came with.
It means what you think it means.
Oh, no. You're right. I would definitely want to die.
Yeah. Unlike what I just said, actually, this movie's not 20 years old. This is our most recent movie we've talked about, brother.
Yeah, what was this, like 2006 or something?
2009. 2009.
Okay.
We're within a decade of when we're recording, so
that's crazy.
Yeah, the last one before this was.
I only know one fact about this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was directed by that Mick G guy.
Mick G. Oh God,
that's all I know about this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the last one before
Terminator Salvation.
Terminator Salvation, yeah. The most recent movie before this was that what was that thing? Jarhead, I think. It came out in 2006, I want to say. So there's that. But, yeah, man. I got to say. You there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I think I lost you for a second. Anyway, sorry. No. So first of all, yes, this is directed by Mick G. And I would have a lot easier time taking that guy seriously if he didn't go by the name Mick G, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
Apparently it's a nickname his mom used to call him, But as FilmSack, the podcast that I listen to, actually said, it makes him sound like an Irish DJ. But yeah, I don't know. Have you seen this one before, Mike?
I want to say I have.
Yeah.
But honestly, watching it, I don't remember a whole lot of it. I don't know if I have seen it.
Yeah, I hear you. That's kind of one of the things about this movie is I'm just going to put it all out on the table right now and say I don't think that it's necessarily a bad movie, but I do think that it kind of falls into the generic, post-apocalyptic battle scene type of movie where there's just not a whole lot that's like super memorable about it, I suppose. So maybe.
Matter of fact, now that I think about it, I don't think I have seen this movie.
Oh, well, there you go.
It came out between I was between two deployments.
Yeah.
Or I might have been on one. I think I was on one actually when it came out.
Yeah.
I think I was in northern Iraq at the time.
Mm-hmm. I went to the theater, the old theater, and saw this one actually with a good buddy of mine. And I walked out of it thinking that wasn't too bad. But, we'll get to that, I suppose. So let's take a look here at some stuff real quick. The only reason we're doing this movie is because this one never hit number 1 at the box office. So it's up for grabs at this point to talk about. But we have...
And Shane dropped the ball again this year. So there's that.
I do that a lot. People don't know that, but I fuck up all the time. So it's not uncommon. But let's go through here. Christian Bale. He's the John Connor in this movie.
Yeah.
Doing a bad Batman impression, we'll say.
Yeah, he's definitely had the Batman voice going on.
Yeah, that's his moneymaker right there. The whole idea of John Connor being replaced a lot, the actor, that doesn't really bother me at all for some reason. I think it's simply because we've seen John Connor in the future and we've seen him in the past. And in each movie, even in certain movies, like in Terminator 2, they show future John and then they show him when he was a kid. And so it's not the same actor there, obviously. But then in the next movie, they had a different guy. And then in this movie, there's a different guy. And the next movie, there's a different guy. So I'm like, whatever. Doesn't faze me.
For me, it's hard to believe that Edward Furlong and Christian Bale could ever have been the same person.
Yeah. Especially if you look at pictures of Edward Furlong nowadays.
That's who that is, right? Same character.
Yeah.
Same character.
Mm-hmm. That's the one. We have Sam Worthington, who is a thing back in 2009. And he plays a previously not mentioned character in this franchise, Marcus Wright, who I guess he's both British and American because he slips in between accents all the time.
Oh, yeah. He goes full Australian a couple times.
Yeah, real bad. We've got Moon Bloodgood. That has got to be... Her parents have got to be hippies. But Moon Bloodgood plays Blair Williams in this movie.
I like her.
Yeah. She's not bad.
I'm a fan.
Yeah. Helena Bonham Carter, who I'm a fan of.
Me too.
Plays Dr. Serena Kogan. She's great. Especially in like Fight Club, which we'll talk about this year and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yep. We got Anton Yelchin, R.I.P., playing Kyle Reese. And then there's this young lady named Jada Grace Berry, plays Star, the little mute girl that doesn't ever say anything in this. Michael Ironside plays General Ashdown, who I love, Michael Ironside. We've got Bryce Dallas Howard, who is the daughter of Ron Howard, who's recently made pretty big name of herself in the Jurassic World stuff. She plays Kate Connor, John's wife. And then Common is in the movie, and he plays Barnes.
Yes.
And that's about all the people I care about. So
You just almost named the entire cast.
just about. It's not a big cast.
No.
Unless you count the robots. But,
Right.
how's it going today, by the way, man?
Chilling.
Yeah. Just
It's
hanging out
Sunday,
at
ain't
his
got shit
house.
to do. Wash some dishes.
Ain't got no job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to work tomorrow, so.
Oh, yeah. You got the military holidays. That's nice.
President's Day.
Yep. So go presidents.
All of them.
All of them. Yep. Dead, alive, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, this thing did not make a big splash at the box office, Mike. It was made
Well,
on...
let me guess. Never made number one.
Oh, that's a good guess, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Good looking out. It was made on a budget of $200 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, think about this. The same year, Avatar came out. It was $100 million more, but the entire thing was made in a computer just about. So,
Well, it's funny. I don't know if I'm thinking the right thing now. Wasn't the original Terminator made by the guy who made Avatar?
yeah, James Cameron.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? As I was sitting back this week, I was riding home, and I just had a stupid moment where I was like, you know what? It amazes me that we haven't talked about a James Cameron movie yet. Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
Who's an idiot, this guy. Do you dare to guess how much it brought in the U.S. all told, Mike?
I'm going to guess it made about $60 million.
No, you're quite a ways off this time. It's $125,322,469. So, not great on the
I think I was
$200
thinking
million.
opening weekend.
Oh yeah. You might be close on that one. It made 70 million, or wait, 51 million its opening weekend. So,
Yeah.
altogether in the world, the movie brought in $371 million. So against
Okay.
$200 million, still not very great, but whatever.
I'll take it.
Well, yeah. I mean, somebody had to. I thought it was interesting because I wanted to take a look here and see. So first off, this movie opened at number 2 in the box office.
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2, exactly.
Who's your number 2?
It opened the following week it jumped to 3, then 6, then 8, then 10. So it never was a deal where, like, say for instance, the Justice League comes out one weekend and the Avengers is coming out the same weekend. It wasn't a deal like, well, this next week it's going to pick up. It just wasn't going to happen at all. But it was going up against A Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian, which was number 1 that week. Which I've heard those are good movies. Yeah, I mean, that's true. It went up against the 2009 Star Trek movie, but that one had been out for a while already, and it was still just about on its heels. The Angels and Demons movie, the follow-up to that stupid-ass...
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code, yeah. I never saw that one. I saw Da Vinci Code. I never watched Angels and Demons.
I watched Da Vinci Code in the theater with my wife.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I had spent pretty much the entire movie explaining to her what was going on. She kept asking questions.
Yeah. Now, if that's not really something you know much about, then I could see getting lost. But let's see here. It went up against the movie Dance Flick, which sounds like something Jared would watch. It's one of those stupid, like, small Saltzman, like, superhero movie or whatever, like epic movie, all that shit.
But
I think Dance Flick might have actually been like Sean Wayans, though. Sean and Marlon Wayans. I'm not sure on that one.
is it a spoof movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like, making fun of like Step Up and Say the Last Dance. And
I thought those were
shit
spoof
like that.
movies.
Well, they're trying to be serious, but I guess laughing at it, could be confusing. The X-Men Origins Wolverine movie was out that week. Ghost of Girlfriend's Past with Matthew McConaughey, I believe. He's really gone on to do way better stuff than that.
Well, all his early stuff was rom-com.
Yeah, it really was. The only one that kind of stands out, he did that Sahara movie with Steve Zahn. And so but that thing got trampled at the box office too. I don't know. Anyway, I guess that's I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily interesting. Do you have any ideas as to why you think this movie might have tanked at the box office, Mike?
I'm guessing just a lot of people thinking like another Terminator.
Yeah. I think it was just the wrong era to make a Terminator movie. So number one, I'm going to go through this whole history of why James Cameron stopped making these movies. Because there is a story behind that. But I think more importantly, though, is people got word that this movie was going to be PG-13 as opposed to, you know, like Terminator 1, 2, and 3 really at that point that had all been rated R. And especially the first one was a pretty hard R. That's a pretty dark, violent movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, along with that, Transformers is already out at this point, and that was killing it at the box office. So people are like, if I want my big robots, I'll just go there. So there was that. Of course, James Cameron wasn't involved, so all the Cameron lovers were not impressed. And then there's that bad PR thing with Christian Bale chewing that ass out of that lighting guy or whatever.
Was that during this movie?
Yeah. Yes, it was, yeah. And
So,
so,
like telling him to be professional and shit.
yeah. Oh, good for you. Yeah. That's just great and all that shit. So there was that. I know that they had to they cut a lot of shit out in the editing room and all that stuff too. So, I mean, this thing definitely had its problems. In fact, when you think about it, I'm surprised that this turned out as well as it did, all things told. But because usually whenever something goes through some shit like that, you end up with the Justice League, where it's just a nonsensical, you know, just a tonal disaster. But whatever. Me. I know people were really pissed off at the time because Arnold Schwarzenegger also was governor, so he could not be in this movie.
Oh, but he is.
Yeah. Well, they CGI'd some shit in there, so
yes,
whatever. Okay, so here's a story with James Cameron and his sordid history with the Terminator franchise. Because I actually Googled the shit out of this week.
I'm guessing he definitely did 1 and 2.
He did do 1 and 2.
Did he do 3 as well?
He did not. He stepped out for 3. No.
That explains for me why my pleasure of the films went down after 2.
Right. And I
Which,
hate to
by the way, the height of my loving the Terminator franchise was definitely 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love T2.
Well, it sucks because back in the day, like my first exposure to the Terminator was I saw a preview for Terminator 2, like back when you would like rent movies or whatever. And there's a little blurb saying that Terminator 2 was coming out on VHS. And so I was watching it and I was like, I noticed that Robert Patrick like liquid metalled his way through these bars inside the Mental Institute. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, like that looks awesome. And I was like, I asked my older sister, I was like, so what do you know about this Terminator thing? And she was like, all I know is that it's a robot that came back from the future to kill this woman, and there's another robot that's trying to stop him. And I was like, oh my God, that
like,
sounds
sold.
Awesome. Yeah. It was it, dude. And so I knew of the Terminator, and I knew that this one was liquid metal and all that stuff. And so then I've said on here before that my parents were super guarded about the shit that I watched, but I begged and pleaded for them to rent those movies so I could watch them. And then I watched the first one, and I was like, okay, you know. It was crazy because I was so looking forward to the second one that I watched the first one and just really didn't even care all that much. And I've gone back and rewatched it, and I know that there's a very vocal group of people that say that Terminator 1 is the fucking one of the best things that's ever been put to film. But the second one to me has always been the better one.
Yeah, I mean, I love T1.
That's good.
But
T2
was
T2
my shit.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of that had to do with my age at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like T2 had like a kick-ass soundtrack, and
It did.
it had it was a teenager was kind of the star of the movie,
Yeah.
and I was pretty close to that character's age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all that stuff kind of just I think came together
Yeah.
Why I liked it. There's motorcycles and semi trucks jumping off bridges and shit.
He's got that shotgun that he like twirls it around to cock it and then shoots it one-handed. Fucking
and
badass.
The Terminator's the good guy.
Yeah.
So you get a chance to like root for Arnold instead of root against Arnold.
Exactly. Because between the first one and the second one, he made a huge career for himself. So
Right.
So, but it's crazy though, because I mean I'm kind of in the same boat. The first
Why
one's
didn't you
good.
pick T2?
I just got excited to talk about this. I figured this would give us more to talk about than us just gushing over Terminator 2 the whole time. So
Okay.
so I guess
Let's hear about James Cameron.
Yeah. So whenever he did the first Terminator movie, he didn't have any notoriety in Hollywood at all. But he went to Orion Pictures and he talked to a woman that was a producer by the name of Gail Ann Hurd. And they wound up getting married, actually. Him and her did. But she said that she would happily make this Terminator movie, like finance it and all that shit, if he was to sell the movie rights to the studio and not retain the rights for him to like take it to another studio or whatever. And he said, I will agree to that if you do not fire me as director. I want to direct this thing. And so he sold the movie rights to Orion for $1, basically, and then she took the rights and ran with it. And so we get the first movie, and turns out, I don't know how James Cameron continues to do this, but he basically divorced this woman, Gail Ann Hurd, but then she hired him on to direct the second movie, which, whatever.
He made a great movie.
I guess he is.
She's still an executive trying to be successful.
Or he has a real big dick, maybe.
I don't know. I know he left his wife for Linda Hamilton, right?
Yeah, he's done that a couple times. He's been married 5 times now.
He left Linda Hamilton for the chick in Titanic.
Yeah, Big Red, as I call her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And so, and what's insane about that is Linda Hamilton's coming back for this new Terminator thing that he's producing. So, figure that out.
He must be a Don Juan motherfucker.
I don't know. He's got a silver tongue, this fella. Ooh. But, so anyway, after that, Gail Ann Hurd decided that they were going to make a Terminator 3. And she brought on this fellow by the name of Andrew Vajna, I believe. Sounds a lot like Andrew Vagina. Let's see here.
It's too easy for you.
Yeah. The Terminator rights, they went to Warner Brothers to make Terminator 3 and this one. And then that's about the time that they brought on this dude, Andrew Vajna, and Mario something. I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So they basically went to Warner Brothers to make this. They thought that James Cameron would come back, and he was like, no, I'm good. You know, I kind of told everything that I needed to tell with the second movie. And so they went ahead and just brought in new directors and new writers and everything to make the third and fourth movies. And then the fifth movie went to Paramount. And meanwhile, like Gail Ann Hurd stepped out, way long ago. So she had nothing to do with it at this point. And, then we end up here. However, the reason that he's able to come out with a new movie is apparently there is a change to copyright laws that say that after 35 years, a copyrighted material automatically reverts back to its original creator. This intellectual property does. So I guess he's getting it back and he's doing his own Terminator thing.
Cool.
This year. So, yeah. It's something. It's crazy. Do you want me to go over a real quick summary of this thing here?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Terminator Salvation. Director McG takes time from coming up with dumb nicknames to bring us Terminator Salvation, released May 21st, 2009. The fourth entry into the ongoing Terminator film franchise and soft reboot of the series after Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. The film opens with us meeting Dr. Serena Kogan, an employee of Cyberdyne Systems, the creator of a computer system called Skynet, who convinces death row inmate Marcus Wright to sign over his body to Cyberdyne following his execution. Unknown to anybody at the time, after his death, Judgment Day would occur, an event that would pit man against machine and render the Earth a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Humanity's last remnants is comprised of drifters and a few small pocket of human resistance fighters. One of said resistance fighters is John Connor, who is often revered as some sort of deity on account of his mom, training him after she was knocked up by a soldier from the future, Kyle Reese. Watch the other movies. We cut ahead to LA in 2018, where mindless automatons aimlessly roam through a wasteland besieged by firefights and constant brutality. Nailed it! John Connor is a member of the squad that is attacking a Skynet base where they find human prisoners and plan for a new type of Terminator, the T-800. All of John's team, except himself, is terminated, and John demands to talk to his command team. A few hours later, Marcus Wright emerges from the base, unchanged from his 2003 appearance.
And covered with mud.
Covered in mud, yep. Could be feces. We'll just say it's mud.
Like
Yeah. John arrives at the Resistance headquarters aboard a nuclear submarine where he educates his commanders about the human prisoners he found and the plans for the T-800. His commanding officer, General Ashdown, in turn, makes him aware of a hidden protocol in the form of a radio signal that can initiate the shutdown of Skynet's machines. The team decides to use the signal in an attack on Skynet's headquarters in San Francisco in 4 days, as Skynet has a kill list composed of the command team, John Connor, and a civilian named Kyle Reese, John's father, who must survive if John is to be born. Marcus, meanwhile, attempts to communicate with a lone T-600 and is saved by Kyle and a young girl named Star, who adds little to the plot. After dispatching the Terminator, John and Kyle set off to go, as Marcus describes, quote-unquote, up north, but their road trip is cut short when Kyle and Star get taken by machines. In the scuffle, 2 A-10 airplanes are shot down, and Marcus makes contact with one's pilot, Blair Williams. They soon make their way to John's resistance base, where Marcus is injured by a magnetic landmine. After examining Marcus, they soon find out he's a Terminator with a human heart, even though he thinks he's human, which you wouldn't know unless you watched the trailer for the movie. John and his wife Kate assume that Marcus knows who he is and has been sent to kill John, so they order him to be destroyed. Blair, taking Marcus at his word, however, helps him to escape. During his escape, however, Marcus meets with John, and Marcus convinces him he can infiltrate the Skynet headquarters and save Kyle. John lets him go and then confronts General Ashdown, who wants to simply napalm the headquarters, along with all the people inside. John, unsuccessful with the general, soon convinces the other resistance fighters not to destroy the base and heads off to the headquarters where Marcus has disabled the perimeter defenses. Marcus, meanwhile, is contacted by Skynet in the form of Dr. Kogan, who soon tells Marcus he was created to lure in John Connor and that this hidden signal was a ruse to cripple the Resistance's air support. Skynet uses the signal to destroy the command submarine with the Resistance leaders aboard. Marcus tears out the hardwire, linking him to Skynet, and aids John, who has not only found Kyle Reese, but also a shiny new Terminator, and it still has that new car smell. Marcus is soon overpowered until John comes to his aid, which seemed like a good plan until John gets skewered through the heart. Fortunately, they had the foresight to rig the base to explode before they fought the final boss. So the T-800 is destroyed. They can quickly escape, nuking the site from orbit. Back at the base, John is dying due to his blood pumping muscle being ruptured. Marcus gives the last piece of his humanity, his heart, and in doing so, dies for a purpose this time. John survives and provides his last and only bit of narration in the film, promising future adventures that we'd never get to see. Thanks, Terminator Genisys. This film stars an American Psycho, a British Psycho, and that one lighting guy in that one scene.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Can I just point out like the big problem I have with this movie?
By all means.
Obviously, he's fucking successful, John Connor.
You do kind of run into that problem. He's not going to die. He's probably going to be fine. Kyle Reese is going to be fine.
Kyle Reese is for sure going to be fine. Why? Because John Connor is there. Still
exists. It would be crazy if they killed Kyle and then you just see like...
Back to the Future?
Yeah, John Connor just like Back to the Future out of the movie. His wife's just watching him like, oh, fuck.
The longer Kyle Reese is in the jail cell at Skynet, his hand starts to get translucent.
Yeah, for real. Yep.
Yeah,
Just
that's
an
my
empty
major
cell.
problem with this movie, man. Like, obviously, from the jump, I know you're gonna be okay. You're at a minimum gonna save Kyle Reese. At a minimum.
Right. Well, and I can understand where you're coming from. Although I have some bigger problems with this movie.
Oh, I have lots of things too, but
Yeah.
that's like my recurring
That's a
thing through the
big-
whole movie.
Right.
Every time like the tension starts to get built and stuff, I start to go lean in on the tension. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be. Oh wait, no, he's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine. Yeah. Fuck him. So a problem that I have with this movie is that it is a soft reboot once again. And I know a lot of people were really turned off by Terminator 3, the first outing not by James Cameron. And I can't
Which
really
one was that?
Huh?
Which one was that?
That's the one with the TX, the Terminatrix, which I'm sure they got the name from The Matrix, which was still kind of a big deal at the time. But it's the woman Terminator that has like the electronic crap underneath her liquid skin where she can like form like ion cannons and shit out of her hand and stuff.
I don't know
And
if I've
then-
ever seen this.
At the end of the movie, Judgment Day actually takes place, which is kind of nice in this movie because, you get the impression.
Is that where at the end, like they're like in a bunker and the
Yeah.
world gets nuked?
Yeah.
I
Talk
haven't seen
about a
that.
forgettable movie. Jeez. And you got all that crappy Arnold Schwarzenegger crap that talk to the hand, And he steals his clothes off of the stripper at the ladies' night. And the guy's like, wait, your turn, bitch, when he walks in naked, and all that. And you're just like, jeez, this is awful, awful stuff. But the Terminator, she's after John Connor and his lieutenants. And so she tracks him down and she tastes some of the blood that she finds on the floor. And then you can see the look on her face. She's like, oh, like she's having an orgasm or something because she finally found John Connor. And so it's like robots don't show emotion. They don't show surprise. She would be like, boom, assessed. Let's go find this motherfucker,
Well, on the right trail.
But what's crazy about it to me, though, is there's been this paradigm shift. And this is something that's bothered me for a long time. So basically with movies nowadays, they want to take and do a reboot to a franchise after one bad entry. And so it's this really weird deal where, back in the day, so they did, I could think of 1,000 movie franchises that had a bad entry that went on to do other very fine works. For example, Star Trek, the first movie is god awful, but the second one's great. Mike's shaking his head.
Nope.
But
I thought you were gonna say Star Wars.
See, Star Wars tripped on its own dick, and I don't think it ever got back up. So, I like The Force Awakens.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, but that one's the one that one I think is kind of different because it was different writers. I guess technically it still qualifies, After the prequels, that one came out and it was fine.
Right.
But another good one, for example, I can think of would be, this is going back, and this is a completely different class of movie. But if we're looking at Friday the 13th, we've got Friday the 13th Part 5 that nobody really seemed to like that much, A New Beginning. And that wasn't after that one, they're like, well, let's just reboot this whole fucking thing and we'll get all new actors. No, they didn't do that. They just made a continuation. Why do we have to reboot everything? I guess is my problem. I've spent so much time getting vested in these old characters, and then they're like, oh, well, it's kind of the same guy, and you're like, well, he hasn't been through the experiences that the old guy has. So automatically he has to try to win me over at this point. When you could have just continued the story, I guess. But
I don't know what to tell you, buddy. It's Hollywood, man.
it is Hollywood. I just think, Terminator 3 wasn't bad enough so that it really warranted, we're just going to make little references to it, but it's not going to be a sequel. Because now we've got a fucked up series of films where we got the first one, we got the second one, third one, and okay, fourth one, soft reboot, fifth one, soft reboot. Now the sixth one that James Cameron is doing, soft reboot. So it's just going to follow up the second one. And you're like, this whole series is a broken down fucking mess, you know? But
Tell us how you really feel.
I guess. I like that this movie, the past stuff where Marcus is getting ready to go up on death row, it takes place in 2003, which is when Judgment Day happened in Terminator 3. So that's kind of nice. A little continuity, I guess. So you can assume that he got executed, and then right after that, Judgment Day took place, I guess.
Like how the opening scene, the director was kind of. I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore.
I don't either.
Kind enough to say the title twice.
Oh yeah, that is.
Did
nice.
you notice that?
Yeah. Like, well, and then we have like he does all the opening credits and shit, and then we do the opening scene of the movie, and then we see. Directed by McG.
McG.
Oh, man. I don't know why he would do that. But
McG.
I wrote down, it's good to know the A-10 lived on into the year 2018. So
it did.
In real life, too.
Yeah.
Yep. That's an old motherfucking airplane, dude.
Yeah, they've tried to get rid of it a few times. And the Army, it's an Air Force aircraft.
Yeah.
But the Army's like, no.
Of it.
Yeah, you can't get rid of those. We use those a lot.
Army's like, yo, you're getting rid of them. Send them over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, they're used wrong in this movie a lot.
Are they?
They're not dogfighters.
Oh, yeah. No, that thing doesn't maneuver at all.
No, they're tank killers.
Yeah. It's like flying a refrigerator.
Yeah, they fly low and slow. Like, that's what their motto is.
I could see that. Did I? Oh, go ahead.
I digress. No, it's no big deal.
Well, I was going to change streams real quick. Maybe I'm an idiot. Did they ever go into what happened with Marcus or why he's being executed? Any of that stuff?
He said 2 cops and his brother are dead because of what he did.
Right. They never
but
said
they don't tell
that.
us what he did. Yeah.
Usually,
he said that I'm guilty. I deserve to die.
Right. Well, I just thought it was weird because usually in a movie like this, they'll go through and basically allude to the fact that, like, well, he did this thing, but like his daughter was sick, so he robbed this bank, you know, or whatever. And so usually you get to hear like his side of the story. And this, you can just assume that like he killed his brother and there was a shootout and 2 cops bit it too. Like, why do I like this dude?
I'm guessing that part of the movie is probably left on the cutting room floor somewhere.
Mm-hmm. A lot of this got left on the cutting room floor.
Because there's a scene between him and Blair where he says, "I'm not a good man."
Yeah.
And that was a perfect opportunity for him to kind of say what happens.
Yeah. Drop a little exposition there.
I'm thinking McG was like, let's leave this one a mystery.
Yeah, it could very well be. People talk a lot of shit on McG, man, but I thought he actually did some decent work with some of these action scenes in this thing. It's really easy to hate this guy just because his fucking name kind of paints a target on him. But there was some stuff I liked that he did in this.
There were some really good points.
Yeah.
For sure. There's a couple reveals I really liked a lot.
Like what?
Like when Marcus is at John's base and they've already seen I don't know how to explain this. So that you're looking through the eyes of Marcus.
Right.
And they can see that he's a robot.
He's gotten injured, yeah. And they can see his guts, yeah.
So they're like, oh shit. And they're kind of explaining what they see, but we don't see it as an audience.
Right.
And then he's chained up and hanging over this pit. And John comes over and unlatches a chain that's holding his forehead back.
Right.
So then he looks down, and as he looks down, that's when they kind of reveal to us, that he's a machine as well.
I got so tired of hearing him yell no. No! He does it at least a dozen times after this.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger reveal was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. There was... Because at the end, he fights the T-800, like we said. And it's interesting, though, because I've heard a lot of people go either way on this. There's not a whole lot of in the middle with the whole Arnold Schwarzenegger thing where some people are like, oh, it looked okay. Most people are like, that looked fucking horrible. And then there's me on the other side of the fence that are like, that looked pretty good. The Arnold Schwarzenegger CGI face thing on the T-800 at the end.
Definitely tell it's CGI, but I accept it. And I like the fact that they burned it off like pretty quick too.
They were trying to get his face off of the camera as soon as they could.
Right, but still like, hey, look, it's Arnold. And then, okay, well, that's cool. And then we don't need to see it anymore.
Right, exactly.
So I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it.
Some of the things I didn't understand, like when Marcus comes out of that pit, why is he covered in mud?
I don't know. Maybe because he had to crawl his way out.
They make it look like he tunneled his way out or something.
He's a gopher.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
And it was this like weird, like he's being born. Like
yeah, it almost is.
I'm
I'm okay with mud on this guy. That's fine.
Why does the big robot wear boots?
It's got to have a place to keep its motorcycles.
No, not him.
What?
I'm talking about so when Marcus, when Kyle saves Marcus from the robot with the minigun.
Oh yeah,
that robot's wearing boots.
That T-600. Well,
yeah.
I've got a suspicion about that because they say in the first movie that they had created these Terminator robots that they looked pretty good from a distance. They looked kind of human-like, but their skin was made out of rubber. So I can only assume that this guy at one point was like dressed up with like rubber skin and clothes on and stuff like that. And I get the impression that this T-600 had just been roving through this city for like a decade, just shooting, killing whatever he could. And finally, over time, he just got the shit kicked out of him enough that all he had on was a couple scraps of clothes and some boots. But it's just my assumption.
I can accept that. I think there's a real life person inside that robot suit walking. And
they didn't want his feet getting hurt.
No, they didn't know how to like make the feet look like real robot feet. So they just like put boots on.
Yeah, that could be. I thought that big T-600 was pretty cool though, and the noises he made, the whenever he like look over at John or at Marcus, that was pretty cool. I like that thing.
The robots in this movie are wild, man.
They are pretty intense. I like most of the designs. The only one I don't care for is the aforementioned Moto Terminators. That's fucking stupid.
Those are badass.
To me, that looked like something they came out with just to sell some action figures. But
those were sick, dude. The way they like maneuvered.
Oh, they could spin around on the ground and just keep going. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They self-righted real easy. Like to me, those made complete sense. What was funny is where they were stored.
Oh, and his legs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like his kneecaps.
His giant fucking robot's legs.
The
fuck.
Yeah, that giant robot was pretty cool, I guess. I feel like an old man, like in my 80s, talking about robots. Yeah. I don't think I've ever said the word robot so much in my life.
What are we supposed to call them? Terminators?
I'm calling them robots. So
okay.
That whole scene with the big baddie, that thing had some interesting stuff going on. We got the old lady that she's like, we'll give these guys some food. They've been out there fucking off, whatever. And then the one guy's like, oh, we're not giving them our food. And then sure enough, she's the one that gets scooped up and like fucking done away with pretty quick. I think that they imprisoned her because I think you see her again later in the movie. But I was like, damn, the old lady, huh? That sucks. But how they got away was pretty cool. I thought they used that big old tanker truck and pushed the gasoline into the Terminator.
And blow it up?
Yeah.
Which would have killed all the people that he had captured.
It would have, definitely, yeah.
But we see them all later. Without a trace of fire.
No, they're fine.
Like, no singed hair.
No, not even any soot on them, anything like that. Carbon.
Fire doesn't burn hair in this movie, by the way. There's a scene where Marcus is on top of, is her name Bailey?
Blair,
yeah. Where Marcus is on top of Blair in a tunnel, and they shoot an RPG in the tunnel, and this big ball of fire like goes over the top of them.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus is invulnerable because he's a machine, but their hair still would have been singed at least.
His clothes were fine.
Yeah.
His hair was fine. Probably
Yep.
didn't even smell like smoke, so that's good.
I hated the scene where John is on a transport
Yep.
and he wants to go to headquarters, which is a submarine, and he just jumps off the back of this helicopter into the ocean and is somehow inside of the submarine.
That Chinook thing or whatever. We need to talk about that scene. There's some problems going on with that bad boy. So the whole idea of this General Ashdown, number one, like you were saying, him jumping off of that Chinook into the ocean is
called an
really
Osprey.
stupid. Oh, is it an Osprey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's really dumb. No, the Chinook's the one that's just the two propeller helicopter, yeah.
Yeah.
The sad part is I was supposed to repair those in the military. Way off base. But, yeah, if I was the pilot of that thing, I'd be like, I'm not opening that door. So, I'm supposed to keep command hidden. But whatever. I do like the idea of there being like this mobile command headquarters in the submarine, just so the robots can never find them. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But as soon as they hop down in this thing, John Connor's sitting there. First thing General Ashdown does is point a fucking loaded gun at his head. What an old movie cliche that would never happen in real life. Even if this guy did just fucking, jump in and could have possibly given away your location, all you're going to do is, all right, get him out of here. He's going to serve the rest of this war in the brig. And that's as far as that would go, typically. But
Well, they keep calling John like the leader of the resistance, but he's obviously not in charge of shit.
yeah, he's like a corporal in this thing.
Yeah.
I actually wrote that down, that it was kind of cool that, it would be really easy to sit back in this movie and we cut ahead to 2018 where John's like in control of this resistance deal. No, he was just a grunt for a long time. And then we actually see him do some, like, we get to see how he came into power after the command team's destroyed and all that other shit. So,
But, like, all the resistance fighters love John Connor.
right.
It's because his mom predicted that everything was going to happen the way it happened.
She did. I don't know, because they allude to very strongly in, like, Terminator Genesis, the movie following this one, that there was some, that, like, basically John Connor knows, like, how these battles are going to play out and that he's able to strategize because he knows how these things are going to fucking end up. His mom and his dad knew each other for like 3 days before he died. Like, he's not like some, fortune teller or something. So,
Right.
But yeah, so there's a little bit of wonkiness there, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we get, they all consider him to be like this, like he can see into the future almost, like he's a deity. But yeah, the Ashdown's not buying it. He didn't give a fuck. And,
Yeah, he really doesn't care
no.
in the slightest. I think he kind of resents John, actually.
Because he's stealing his thunder.
Yeah, because everybody loves him.
Right,
Even though
right.
the Ashdown is, like, supposed to be the guy leading the resistance.
And Ashdown's this stereotype that you've seen 1,000 times of where he's, the hard-ass guy in charge and fucking whatever, the tropeness of it. So let's go back here. I guess Terry Crews was supposed to be in this movie, but
Yeah.
all of his scenes ended up on the cutting room floor. We actually
so
see...
he actually filmed some scenes?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
You actually see his body at one point after John like crawls up out of the hole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
And,
brother?
Yeah, exactly.
It's Common's brother?
Supposed to be Terry Crews. Well, it is Terry Crews, but we don't see any of him. Apparently, he was pretty pissed about that too. But
That's funny.
they did come out with an R-rated cut of this movie. And this is like right whenever Blu-ray started to become a big deal. And so they're like, if you buy it on Blu-ray, you can get the R-rated cut. It consists of like a boobie, which I think we actually saw in this cut.
You don't really.
like a side boob.
Yeah, and it's dark.
Right.
That's a great scene where she has to wash her boobs, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important. But then cover herself up after she's disrobed in front of this guy.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then I guess they threw in an extra F-bomb. And I was like, oh, okay, well, there you go. R-rated guys then love violence and nudity.
Yeah.
That should keep you stocked up.
There's just so many inconsistencies. There's so many inconsistencies. Damn, I can barely speak today. Throughout this movie, like one of the scenes, the hunter killers are flying around town.
Yep.
And it's just Kyle, Marcus, and Star. And the hunter killer flies between two buildings. One of the buildings they're on, and then across the street, there's another building that completely collapses.
It does.
Because the hunter killer flew by it. Mm-hmm. But the one they're in doesn't even shake.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, you could always make the assumption that, this is a really old ass building, and so the slightest bit of vibration is going to knock it on its ass. But you would think it would have a similar effect to the other building. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. There's some stuff scene where Marcus repairs a Jeep.
Yep.
And it starts playing some Alice in Chains.
Yeah, the rooster.
Yeah, and Kyle's like, what's that? It's music. Okay, so Kyle doesn't know what music is. Okay, I can accept that. That.
Fair enough.
But what makes you think he knows how to drive then?
Yeah. He's already said that, they never use vehicles. He's like, I think there's some up here. You can try to go get one working. But obviously he's never driven before. And
if that Jeep is bumping, I don't understand. It's so confusing to me because it's got Alice in Chains on the radio. Mm-hmm. Is it the radio? Is there a tape or a CD in there? Because I'm guessing the radio stations aren't still broadcasting grunge metal.
Like Nirvana and shit playing, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
There's some poor bastard DJ that's like, this is my job, dude. I gotta keep it going. He's just in there trying to hide from robots while he's playing music.
And then a nice little callback to the original franchise of this, John uses a boombox playing Guns N' Roses to call in the robots.
Yeah. This is the same Guns N' Roses song from the second one.
Yeah. There's a couple of callbacks that I appreciate.
Come with me if you want to live, obviously.
I'll be back.
Just tell him I'll be back. There's that. There's a couple little things. Obviously, Arnold showing up at the end is a huge reference.
Well, and the molten metal.
Right, yeah.
Being poured on him is a pretty big reference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole final scene, I thought that was actually a really cool place to do a final showdown, was in this Terminator manufacturing facility. And once again, the Terminators all look great in this movie, I think. Mm-hmm. And it did very much harken back to that damn smelting, I guess, facility, that steelworks facility in the second one. Yeah. But one thing I do like about this movie, so we have the first movie, and it's Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor, and they're running away from the Terminator. In the second movie, it's the Terminator and Sarah Connor and John Connor, and they're running away from a bigger, badder Terminator. Not bigger, but definitely badder. Mm-hmm. And then in the third movie, it's John Connor and his new girlfriend, and the Terminator's helping them run away from an even badder Terminator, supposedly, even though I think that TX piece of shit's a big step back from the T-1000. But at least in this movie, we get something that's a little bit different. And I kind of like that, in that it's not just some road movie where they're trying to get the fuck away. It was a very different sort of deal. So I can appreciate that. They were trying to do something new. Whether it worked out or not, I guess is up to you. But
humankind wouldn't stand a chance against the kind of robots that we see in this fucking thing. Like that Big Daddy that was at the gas station, where it just nukes vehicles by looking at them.
Yeah. You're done,
Yeah, I mean, there's ain't shit you can do.
Well, especially considering they're making new ones all the time. You take out, 30 humans at once, and then that's just one robot that did it, and we're making all sorts of new ones and shit. Dude, we might be fucked. I'm just saying.
I do appreciate how some of the robots all kind of like interchange and like connect to each other. Like, so they have motorcycles are in the Big Daddy's robot's legs, and then he climbs and makes himself part of this spaceship thing. It's kind of neat the way they like integrated these machines.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I like that they've gone back to Skynet being like a supercomputer sort of thing in this, and that it's defended by like this giant fucking Terminator that's out there and all that shit. Because the technology kind of changes as they go. So the whole idea was originally the Skynet was this giant supercomputer, right? And so you're just thinking of these fucking mainframes everywhere and giant cooling units and shit like that. Second movie, stuck with that. Third movie, well, now we've gotten into the internet era. So now we're going to make it that the Skynet came up with like this computer virus. And so like basically that's why they turned Skynet on, was to take out this computer virus that it had created, you know, so that it could take control over all these machines and shit. Which is kind of dumb. This movie, they went back to it. And then in the next movie, you find out that Skynet's like, it's being distributed as like this operating system. It's almost like Android or something.
Yeah, Google all day.
Yeah. And so now they're like, well, that can link up your tablet to your phone, to your car, to the... Dude, we already have that. What are we talking about this Genesis thing? But
well, it's funny because whenever you talk, like when you discuss like Google and like all the different things that they're involved in, like every once in a while you'll get a guy that's like Skynet, bro.
Google is Skynet.
Yeah.
Google will be the end of humanity. So. Great job. It's not Amazon, so that's good because I like Amazon. So.
I'm an Apple fanboy, so.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Let's get into some brass tacks here. How does Skynet know anything about Kyle Reese?
Very good question.
Because all throughout this movie, he's like a priority on their kill list.
Oh, I could tell you why. They know Kyle Reese is the father to John Connor.
But how do they know that, though?
Birth records.
He wasn't on any birth record.
You don't know that.
The only thing that I could possibly think of is that they had gone through, I guess, maybe Skynet had analyzed tapes of like Sarah Connor's like testimony or whatever from back in the day. But even that's kind of a stretch because they pretty much chalked it up to Sarah Connor was crazy back then. So I think that's pretty weak explanation.
But Skynet would know that she's not crazy.
How would Skynet know? It hasn't happened yet. They don't even know if Kyle Reese is really like a person or not.
But she's describing everything Skynet did.
That's fair.
So they would be like, yeah, we did that shit.
Yeah. How would they know what his face looks like?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Whatever.
There's a lot of stretches that we have to do in this film.
Yeah, there are quite a bit.
Like, why the fuck is his pregnant wife at the battlefield?
Yeah, don't do that. That's a bad move right there. She probably.
How the fuck can you do a heart transplant in the desert?
In the desert, everything's gonna get infected and all this stuff.
Definitely gonna get some sand particles in there for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're in an open, like they just have like a canopy in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, it was like MASH. It was less than MASH.
Very much less than
At least MASH had an enclosed tent that they were doing shit out of, you know?
And we're supposed to believe that Marcus just lays down. Then John's wife performs a removal. So she kills Marcus to get his heart.
Right.
And then sticks it in John. And everybody's cool with it.
Yeah. I guess so. I guess so. I always wondered about that. So if we're going to take this dude's heart, I see him pump him full of shit. Is that some kind of sedative? Because if you kill him, like, okay, well, we got to get this dude's heart out of him. Let's kill this dude so that then we can take his heart out. Well, what are you doing? Pumping his heart full of poison or something? I don't know how that works, but
how you kill him?
Well, I know how you kill him. I don't know if killing him's a real good idea if you want to use his organs.
I don't know.
Another big problem I had, why are they keeping humans alive?
they're trying to make Marcus's.
I thought maybe they were trying to like come up with a way of like using some sort of synthetic skin that they created from human skin for their T-800s. And so that was my only thing, was maybe that's what it was. But that's the old cliche. I think that whenever you are in a movie scenario like this, say you are think of like The Matrix or X-Men Days of Future Past or this, keeping humans alive is always a bad idea. You need to take them out as soon as possible.
Yeah, if you're some type of AI trying to run shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kill them off. You'll be fine.
Elon Musk is really concerned about AI, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about any of that.
Oh yeah, like he's held like conferences already to discuss like how we have to control AI. We can't let it like be self-aware.
Right.
Like it has to know that it's there just a performance function and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty scary stuff. Don't learn nothing.
So apparently he's been watching this.
Yeah, somebody needs to.
You heard about him on Joe Rogan, right?
I didn't listen to that episode, no.
Oh, well, you got to. First of all.
Pretty good.
Second of all, Joe got him in trouble because he had him smoke pot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Joe does, I'm afraid. So,
and the stock went down by 6% the next day or something like that.
Oh, God. People are so uptight about weed.
It's already bounced back over that. So
of course. Of course. I do like in this movie whenever the Terminator like captures somebody, they have like a cage that they put him in, like a bird or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or say you go fishing, and he like drops him from like 30 feet.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna blow out that dude's kneecaps that way. He ain't gonna be worth shit. Yeah, don't do that. The old lady, quit. Don't do that to an old lady, dude. Come on.
Yeah, she's fragile.
Yeah. You don't want to fuck her up. I get tired of these post-apocalyptic rape scenes in movies.
Oh yeah.
And I can understand why you do it, because it's these guys on the road and they haven't seen a woman in like 8 months, and we probably raped the shit out of her, whatever. But it's just not creative. And I think if you're going to do rape in a movie, you really have, in order for it to be effective, have to do it the right way. And this movie isn't going to do that. So.
What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying. Well, so the whole thing is obviously rape is like a big deal. And so if you have it in a movie, then it has to be like a very impactful scene, and it has to be handled lightly, and it has to be done for a reason. This movie, they had no desire to do that. They're like, hey, I don't know, let's just have some fucking lone wanderers, rednecks, just find this girl and then try to get down with her,
They were watching her wash herself in the rain naked.
Oh.
But although
so she was asking for it. No, not really.
Although I agree with you, it's a trope for sure. Like in a post-apocalyptic world, it'd probably be pretty reality.
Yeah, it would be.
There probably would be some scumbags just walking around looking for a chick.
I just get tired of seeing it, I guess, is my thing.
Yeah, it's not fun to see.
No. Well, it wasn't handled particularly well here.
For me, it would have been better if she just would have whooped all three of their asses by herself.
Beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
She's a resistance fighter. She should be good.
Yeah. But I think it was intended for us to see like how badass Marcus is in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah. The most egregious of those, I think, and this is a movie that everybody loves, and the end of it just completely falls apart to me, but that's 28 Days Later, where they make it to like the military base and all that shit, and then these guys are like, all right, let's fuck the women. I'm like, yo, society just turned over like a month ago, and you guys are already like, all right, well, let's get to fucking. Like, it's going to take me a long time to get an erection after seeing some of that shit, dude.
28 Days Later is awesome, though.
It's good up until the end, and then it gets really stupid really fast.
Yeah.
Like I said, Marcus being a Terminator was written by the trailer of the movie. I don't know why they would put that in there. Fucking ridiculous.
I don't know. I think I've said just about everything I need to say about this movie.
Yeah.
If you have some more you'd like to add, please do.
I would. I wrote down, so the machines get Kyle Reese, scan his face, take him to Skynet, scan his face again, and then physically pick him up, and they still don't kill him.
Number one on the kill list.
I don't know why they wouldn't kill him, but
because it was part of the plan to get John Connor there as well.
Yeah, well, they could have killed him, and John wouldn't have known he was dead.
True.
I wrote down people yelling no in movies can be unconvincing, and Sam Worthington ain't the man to do it. No! Stop. Just stop. Their escape back through the minefield was pretty cool, I wrote down. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things I like about McGee, actually, his directing in this. There's another scene toward the beginning where it was right after they infiltrate that Skynet base, and we see John Connor like come out of the base, and he like hops in that helicopter real quick because there's those HKs that are taking off. He goes chase him down, then he proceeds to get shot down, and it's all done in like one continuous take, and it actually looks really cool, I thought. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I wrote down those Terminators are pretty rough. The ones that swim around in the water.
Oh yeah, what are they called? Hydras?
I guess. They just look like robo-sperm.
Yeah.
Why would Skynet have a computer terminal to talk to, or chairs, or a table, or a screen interface? It's all robots.
Do you think that's
they don't have board meetings?
You think that was like part of the original structure?
It could be like the Cyberdyne building or whatever.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah. Could very well be. I like that robots in the future use like road graders and stuff like that, like bulldozers and shit. You see them like driving around whenever John gets into the base. That's pretty funny. I don't know. So here's something that's interesting about this movie, I suppose.
Okay.
So the idea is that in Terminator 3, they actually mentioned that John Connor was killed by a T-800 Terminator. Mm-hmm. And that Skynet knew that he had spent time with one as a kid, and so it used the T-800 as a way of basically, since he was familiar with it, they used that to be the tool of his destruction or whatever, because he would hesitate before killing one. And I think that that's what this whole idea is. Him getting stabbed through the heart is supposed to allude to that this T-800 killed him. But apparently the original idea was that, and this is why I'm okay with the heart transplant thing, is that originally they were going to have Marcus remove his human skin and put on John Connor's human skin. And then he would be basically like John Connor. Like the idea, the fucking, the image of John Connor was more important than actually having the real John Connor. That was the idea that they were going to go with. So it'd really be Marcus in John Connor's skin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
I'm thinking the heart transplant's easier.
Fine. Yeah, quite a bit.
I don't know shit about medicine, by the way.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I have no idea what's easier.
People online called this Throwinator when it came out, because it seems like when the T-800 gets a hold of John or whatever, he just picks him up and like throws him against a wall or whatever. I think a real Terminator just
crushing his skull.
Yeah, snap his neck, something like that. Yeah. So I could see that. I thought it was funny that they felt it necessary to wire up all these nuclear power energy cells together. Light one up there, I'll probably gonna go off, man. You ain't gotta like hook them together.
I guess that's a pretty good. Yeah, you're probably right there.
Yeah. Marcus intervenes after he like throws the chair through that screen, And then we see Marcus after that, and he's like changed back into his like regular clothes. Oh, good. That's way to prioritize there, buddy. Get them clothes changed.
He
first.
took time to like get a refresh too, by the way.
Yeah, he did. His, I guess he had to respawn. That was it.
I guess. I don't know. He had he sat down in the chairs and they gave him his skin back and everything.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. The only other thing I guess really worth noting is I probably would have waited for more clearance before I blew up the Skynet facility, because they're lighting up a nuke while the helicopter's flying over it. Probably not a solid move.
For sure.
Yeah. Faux show. I guess that's pretty much it. What did you think of this movie, Mike?
It was okay.
Yeah. It's no
I'm
T2.
confused why you picked it.
I just thought it would be interesting to talk about. So,
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, you were wrong.
I had no ill-conceived notions or anything.
I don't believe this has been very interesting at all.
No, it hasn't, Mike. Thanks for that. No, it's certainly. I don't think, because I remember watching Terminator 3 and at the time walking away and going, yeah, that was okay, whatever. But at least this movie tries to take itself seriously for all of its flaws and issues and stuff. It's never going to be as good as Terminator 2 or probably 1 for that matter. But it at least is trying, we'll say. So.
Hey, I'm a big Christian Bale fan.
Yep.
As far as an actor is concerned, I don't know him personally, obviously, but as far as his acting is concerned, I don't know that he's ever put in a poor performance. I pretty much love him in everything I've ever seen him do.
Yep.
I heard he's a real pain in the ass. Like,
I heard
to
he's a
work
dick.
with.
Yeah.
But as far as a movie fan goes, I think he's awesome. So I was excited about that. Some of the parts of the movie that harken back to the original, T1 and T2 stuff is pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
So, for those reasons, like, I'm okay with this movie. Like, I'm like, I think, this is not bad.
It's fine. Yeah.
I would like to know more about this Marcus dude, for sure. I would like it if we ever knew about Marcus before. I wish, like, in T1 and T2, like T1, I wish that Kyle talks about John in the future and Marcus and, like, their importance, but we don't get any of that.
No.
Like, Kyle knows about Marcus.
Well, that never was going to happen because he wasn't created back when the Terminator came out. But maybe if they could have used a character that had been mentioned or something that we'd seen in a flashback. Yeah, something like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to be Marcus himself, but just anybody that we already kind of heard their name.
Right.
That way, like, when we see him this time and we hear his name, we'll be like, whoa.
Yeah, they just kind of pull him out of his ass and then kill him off real quick so that they don't have to talk to him and other shit. Yeah.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen a continuation of this movie because in my opinion, when this movie came out, I was talking to the buddy of mine that I went to the movie theater with and saw this, and he was of the opinion, he's like, well, I don't know how much other shit they can really do with the Terminator movie franchise. And I was like, what I would have preferred to have seen was we go ahead and we play this thing out, maybe get at least one more movie in the shoot. But the end of it, basically, they stumble upon this time machine that Skynet had. And the movie concludes with Kyle Reese going back to, to save Sarah Connor. And that's basically the way that the movie ended. I would have liked that, but...
I would like to see John Connor tell Kyle Reese, what's up?
What's up, like what?
I need you to go back and protect my mom. And you're going to have to fuck her while you're there because you're my dad, dude.
Right. Yep. And you got to fuck her at the right time. Yep. It's pretty crazy. But I don't know. I'm a big Terminator junkie, but I will say, though, that I think that all these subpar Terminator installments that came out after the second one really have diluted the originals. Like, there was a time when I got Terminator 2 back on DVD that I just watched it constantly. But now we've got all this other crap out there. And the first two don't seem as special anymore, I don't think, after all this other garbage came out. But it's kind of like with Star Wars, I guess. There was, and I was telling my wife this, that there was a time when there were only 3 Star Wars movies. You know, the prequels weren't a thing. The Disney stuff wasn't a thing, you know. And so you could sit back and watch literally all the Star Wars stuff over the course of a day. Right. And it was a significant deal. But now we just got a whole bunch of other shit out, and I just stopped caring after a while.
That's going to keep on coming, too. That ain't stopping anytime soon.
No, they paid good money for that. They're going to use it.
They're going to make lots of movies.
Yeah. But, so I don't know. I guess that's my opinion of Terminator Salvation. It's not the worst. It's not the best. It just is.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. It is kind of too bad to see an installment of such a big franchise like the Terminator open to number 2. It's fucking disappointing. And it kind of shows you what a fucking mess that whole franchise is nowadays.
What are we watching next week?
Well, first off, did you watch anything this week, Mike?
I did.
Let's hear it.
I watched Widows.
What is Widows? Oh, isn't that one thing up for an Oscar or whatever?
I don't know if it might be nominated for an Oscar, but it's basically a bunch of like professional thieves, I guess is the best way to describe them. They rob the wrong guy, and then they die like in the process.
So that's not what I was talking about.
The guy who they robbed wants his money back, and he makes the widows perform the heist to get their money back.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and then I watched the Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
How was that?
I liked
that
it.
Sucked. Oh, really?
Well, yeah, Farrah really likes it.
Why are you watching all these Christmas movies now? The Grinch and now this, and
because they're on DVD.
I guess so.
Let's see what this other movie I watched. Creed 2.
Oh, how was that?
I loved it.
I heard that was quite good, but
loved it.
I haven't even watched the first Creed yet, so I don't know anything.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Creed series is good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I do need to watch those.
That's it for movies.
Yeah. This week, me and the wife got onto the kind of this Jeffrey Dahmer kick, where there's this new movie that had just come out not terribly long ago called My Friend Dahmer. Mm-hmm. And we watched it. It was basically somebody on IMDb actually described it as the Napoleon Dynamite with cannibalism.
Oh God.
Which he doesn't actually like eat any people or anything in it, but it just kind of like goes through his high school like awkward shit, and like for a while he didn't have any friends, and then like he found out that he could just fucking do like random oddball shit, and people thought he was funny and would like hang out with him and shit. But then he just started to get weird again and like pull away from those guys, and even in like high school as a senior, he was like getting into real bad alcoholism and shit like that. And then we got off of that tangent and decided to watch, I guess there's the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes or files, Jeffrey Dahmer files. It's like a documentary that came out several years ago. So still in the process of watching that. Maybe if we give the right person the right blowjob, we can finish it at some point. But
okay.
I also watched the movie Logan's Run over the week. It's one of those that you would hate watching it, kind of like Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Logan's Run.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
I like that movie, so whatever. But next week, on the other hand, sir, oh man, we got a doozy ahead of us.
Do we?
Yeah, we do. We actually talked about this movie before whenever we discussed Face Off. But this week we are dabbling into 8mm.
Oh.
So, yeah, that should be fun.
Do you remember that movie at all?
Yeah, I do.
It's pretty fucked up.
It's pretty fucked up, man. I'm really not looking forward to watching it at all. So.
Well, now you know how I feel.
Yeah, there you go.
Every time you pick a movie.
It was directed by Joel Schumacher, or Joel Shipmaker, as he's often called, because he directed Batman and Robin, believe it or not. So it's definitely something to look forward to, I guess. But any final thoughts about the Terminator, Mike?
Nope.
Nope.
T2 is awesome.
T2 is awesome, and we probably will talk about it at some point on here.
I would hope so.
It's up to Mike, really. I mean, I guess it's up to me too, but if you want to watch it, go right ahead, Mike.
I'm sure you'll grace us with another Star Trek franchise entry.
Oh, I'm sure I will. So, anyway, folks, if you have any ideas of stuff that you would like for us to watch, you can always email us. Our email address, that's what they're called, is cheesymovie@yahoo.com. You can look us up on Facebook, Casino Royale with cheese, all spelled out and separate words. You can check us out on the Instagram, your iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast from. You can check us out on YouTube, Casino Royale W Cheese. And for all of you vaguely fascinated, we do have a Twitter account. It is Casino Royale WCH, but it ain't got shit going on. So
No. Facebook and Instagram is basically where you should follow us.
yeah. I mean, I still spit out, our iTunes and our YouTube handle because, that's where you can go to listen to us. But if you're already listening to this, then you probably fucking have an idea. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah. But final thoughts, Mike? You good?
I'm good, dude.
All right.
Keep asking me if I have any final thoughts.
I'm just making sure. I'm being hospitable. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
Don't be an asshole.
Well, sorry. It's in my nature.
Anyway, everybody, thanks again for joining us. If you're curious about 8mm, then feel free to join us next week. But yeah, we'll see you then.
Bye.
I'll be back.